Soft Flex has gone wild this month, literally. Want to see what's inside the August Wild Mushroom Design Challenge kit? Let's open it together. And stick around because I plan to make something special with these beads at the end. Hey there, I'm Dina. Let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome to my unboxing of the August 2025 Wild Mushroom Collection released by Soft Flex Company. So, meet me back in just a moment and I will get this unboxed and laid out so it's a lot easier to look at, and we'll go through everything one by one. Then we'll go through our strand that we get as an extra purchase, and after all of that we'll do a short tutorial. Meet you back in a moment. And here is the first portion of the Wild Mushroom Design Challenge Kit. So we'll go through this portion first, then we'll go through our little container that we get from Jesse James Beads as well. And then, like I said, we'll go through the strand after that. Alright, so first thing you get is you always get a full spool of the medium soft flex wire. Now this one is called Butterscotch Imperial Topaz color. This, I don't know for sure because I'm still pretty new with Soft Flex. I think this might be a new color for them. So it's very, very pretty, and it does remind me of butterscotch. So it's going to be a very nice color to use in this month's kit. So I'm going to set that one off to the side, and then we'll go through the rest of it. You always end up with some crimp tubes. You always get 20 count of crimp tubes, and this month we're getting the copper color, so you get those. You get 2 pairs of ear wires, also in a copper color. You get yourself a lobster clasp, there again in a copper color. So very good color to be using with this month's kit. The next thing you will get is a strand of 10mm brown ceramic beads. Now the beads themselves, I ended up with 3, 6, 7, 10. I had 10 beads on the strand. So here's your ceramic beads. And this little guy sitting up here is also on the strand. It's to help kind of keep the beads together, so you get 2 of those, one on either end. So I went ahead and just put that out too, because I might be using that in a project sometime in the future as well. So those are your little ceramic beads that you get. Now this one I'm pretty sure my daughter's going to try to steal from me. This is Teeny Tiny Ceramic Blue Mushroom. And this little guy is cute. He's blue and white. You got the hole that goes down the center. And it's a cute little mushroom. I'm pretty sure if I were to make just a very simple necklace and just use a head pin even, or thread and needle and just put some seed beads on either side, something like that, just to make a simple little pendant, and then put that on a chain, or even use the wire and make it a simple necklace, I'm pretty sure my daughter will probably steal that from me. So we'll see what we make with that. The next thing you get is a Green Girl Studios mushroom toggle. So this is pretty interesting. This would be very challenging for me to use because I'm more along the lines of a thread and needle person, so using wire and everything and trying to come up with a loop to be able to use with this toggle would be pretty challenging, but I am up to the task. And then that's the way the back looks. So the back is a little bit more simple. You still see a little bit of the detail and everything in there, but it's a little bit more simple. And then the front side of it. Very pretty. You also get 6mm simple cut style glass beads in amethyst. So these kind of look like, almost like the, what are they called? Hex cut sometimes, or sometimes they're called European cut, I think. There's a couple of different names for it. But that's what it kind of looks like. It almost looks like a bicone, but there's a little bit more, there's more facets to it on the edge than just the simple bicone facet. Very pretty though, very nice amethyst color. You also get some Japanese bamboo in dark brown. So these are what these beads look like. So you've got the dark brown and then you've got the light brown underneath. It almost looks like it's a table cut type bead, and then you got the hole going down the center. You end up with, I think it was 13. Yeah, 13 of these guys. Then you have a check glass bead mix. I ended up with 2 of these transparent topaz cushion beads, or pillow beads. I think some people call them pillow beads. And then I have 3 of the frosted topaz pillow beads. And then I had 3 of these, more of kind of like a milky opaque, or an opal type look to it, the topaz opal, but I ended up with 3 of these guys. Your other strand that you're going to get in this kit is rust brown travertine tri-cut oval bead strand. So you get a strand of these guys, and I apologize, I forgot to count this one. 3, 6, 9, 10, let's see, 13, 15, looks like maybe 18, and there may be some, because I have these sit in a bag right now, so somewhere around 18 beads or so. And these kind of just remind me of coffee beans. They look like coffee beans to me. Very cute. This last little guy is really, really cute. I like this. And you get a little owl charm. So the charm itself, I'm just going to put this down. The charm itself is held together by jump rings, and each little section is movable. It can move and sway with the owl. So he's pretty cute. And you've got 2 little rhinestones, little black rhinestones of probably flatbacks that are sitting there, and for the eyes. So very cute. So that's the first portion of the box. So meet me back in just a moment. I'll get this put out so we can go through the Jesse James bead mix. And here is the Jesse James bead mix that comes with the kit. So all of these beads, plus a few that I couldn't fit on the little mat off to the side, came in this little itty bitty small container here. So I love how much you can get in this little small thing. So we'll go through these quickly individually. You end up with 2 of these. This is a nice round, but a little bit of an oval shape. It's got like a wave to it. Not oval, it's just got a wave to it. I don't know where oval came from. But it is a round shape. You get 2 of these, and it's a nice clear yellow color, or transparent yellow color. This kind of reminds me of yellow ochre. If those of you out there that are painters, whether you use oil or acrylic painting, you will come across the color yellow ochre. And this is what this reminds me of. My mom was an oil painter, and I never took up the painting portion of it until I had my daughter, and was trying to teach her one day how to paint and realized I had no clue what I was doing. So I ended up having to go to YouTube, believe it or not, and teach myself how to use acrylic paints. And I think my cat is knocking something down in the background up back there. So if they come running in here, then you'll know what's going on. But so that's what these look like. You get 4 of these guys, look like a yellow ochre color. Very sparkly though because of the facets. And these look like dark melon beads. They almost remind me of like a coconut. I know a coconut doesn't have the stripes in it, but that's kind of the color that it reminds me of. So that's what it looks like, just a nice little ceramic bead. You get 2 little pretty drops in this dark topaz color. So nice drop colors. You get 4 of these roses, and these are pretty awesome. They have 1 hole going down the center of the rose. And they're really, really tiny. They're about 6 to 8 millimeters, maybe 10, somewhere around 8 to 10 millimeters probably. But you get 4 of those. You get 2 of these, and this is like an opaly purple color, or an amethyst color. So that's where the back side looks like. And with opal, the opal glass, you're always going to get a little bit of a swirling effect inside the glass and everything. So your beads probably won't look the same as mine, but it'll be something similar to that. And you get 2 of those. You get 4 of these beryl beads, which is a transparent light amethyst color. Very pretty. You get 2 sets of sparkly beads. You get the small purple ones that are here that look like they're about a 3 millimeter in size. You get 3, 6, 8 of those. And then you get larger gold beads. These almost look like they're maybe a plated, what is that called? Lava stone. It looks like it could be something similar to that. I don't know for sure if it's lava stone or not, but that's what it kind of reminds you of, is a plated lava stone. And you end up with 10 of these. You get 2 different sizes of bicones. You get this dark purple color in the smaller size, and then you get this nice goldish, almost bronze color of the larger size of bicones. You get 4 bead caps, and these are your bead caps, so they're nice and kind of fancy looking. Very pretty. Then you get some washers. You get some plain ones like this, where they're just gold on both sides. And then you get some very interesting looking ones. These are like antique gold color. And these are the same on both sides as well. And then this, I have an idea. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it as my earring, but I might be using these in my earring today. We're going to do some bead weaving, I think. So that's what you get in the Jesse James bead mix. So meet me back in just a moment and we'll go through the strand real quick and then we'll do that tutorial. And here is the Jesse James bead strand. That is an add-on purchase to the kit itself. So we'll go through this really quick. I usually don't take it off the strand just so it's a little bit easier for you to see everything. So you have the same size of teardrop bead as you did in the Jesse James bead mix here on the ends. So you get one of each down there. You get 3 sets of these guys. So you have a bead frame. Then you have a spacer that kind of reminds me of almost like the old Western badges that you would get when you were a kid and things like that. And the old sheriff's badge. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And then you have an opaly, almost like a sand color, rondelle that's sitting in here. Then you have another one of your little sheriff badges. So you get 3 sets of those. So you have 1 in the center and then 2 on the sides. You get 2 sets of these. You've got a round melon bead that is in a dark brown color. Then you have the antique, antique gold color bead caps on either ends of this. And you get 2 sets of those. And this is kind of my thought. This looks like a nice earring in itself. And you can just string your earring on just like this. And for me, since I usually use thread and needle, I'd probably put a seed bead down here at the bottom, a seed bead in between the bead frame and then that bead cap, and then have a seed bead up here at the top so it has something that it can attach to the earring. So I'll probably just do something simple like that. You get 2 of these rondelles. They're a little bit smaller, but they are a nice sparkly topaz color. You get 4 of these guys. These are just round spacers. They look very similar to the other ones that you get in the bead mix, just a little bit larger. You get 2 of these guys, which are very, very sparkly. These are like clay, I believe. And then the flatbacks are moved. My cat's trying to move around, sorry. There you go. Get down, Kylie. You can get down. You got room. I've got too much on my desk right now. She's flipping out because she can't figure out how to get down. Anyways, you have a clay ball, basically, and then you have some flatback rhinestones that are glued and or put in the clay before the clay is processed. And that's what it looks like. And then the last thing on this strand are 2 little round beads that kind of remind me of like a sunshining, because you've got the round part in the center. There you go, you can see the round, and then you can see like the sparkles around the edge. It just reminds me of a sunshine. I don't know why I think of that, but every time I see these type of beads, that's what I think of. And then this color is basically the same color as this color right here. So that is your extra purchase bead strand. So give me just a few moments, and of course it'll be a few seconds for you. The next screen will show a supplies needed page, so that way if you would like to follow along with my earring tutorial, then you can. And then give me a few minutes to figure out what that tutorial is going to be, and I will meet you back and we'll do that little earring tutorial. Now that we have our supplies out and ready to go, let's get started. We're going to end up doing a circular brick stitch today. And then after we do a little bit of that brick stitch, then we're going to basically just do peyote to kind of fill in the sides. So this is what our earring is going to look like. So I'll put that off to the side just to kind of help with the camera and everything that needs to be focusing on and everything. Alright, first thing we're going to start off with is our little flower spacer bead that we have. So this is the guy that we're going to use. Very, very cute. I like it. And this is kind of what I had thought of when I first saw the bead, is I can do some circular brick stitch where we're going to add some beads basically on top of each petal. So to start off with, we're going to put our thread needle through that center, bring it down to the end to where you have a comfortable amount to hold on to. And before I forget, I'm using dragon thread size 8 today in the green color, so that way you can kind of see it on the mat a little bit better. Hopefully you can see my thread paths and everything like that too, but then it also helps to keep the thread hidden with the colors that we're using today and everything. So go ahead and make yourself a knot down here at the bottom. You want to make sure that you're going in between two petals, not around a petal. So you're going from the center. We're going to tie a knot through in between two petals there. So right over left, left over right. Just make sure you don't wrap around any of the petals when you're making your first and second knots. And then just pull that tight. And now you have your thread tied on. So first thing we're going to do, when you start off brick stitch, you always add an extra bead, because that last bead that you add on is going to share on that last little circular brick stitch that we're going to end up doing. So this first section, we're going to add 4 of our gold seed beads. We're going to go through the center. I'm just going from the back to the front because that's more comfortable for me to do. I'm going to pull these seed beads down to our spacer and then just kind of arrange them to where they kind of look like that, where they're hugging basically the outer petal. And just like typical brick stitch, we're going to go back through that last bead. And then when you pull tight, you don't want to pull too tight, because you want your seed beads to basically sit on the outer part of that petal. Now mine's kind of sitting a little wonky a little bit. Mine's kind of sitting off to the side, not sitting the correct way. Once we get back around to the very end over here, then it's going to sit a lot better. So that's the first little section. The second petal is going to be a gold seed bead, one of our purple sparkly beads, and then 2 more gold seed beads. So we're still adding 4 beads, but it's a different pattern. So now we're going to go through the center from the back to the front. Pull those down to everything sitting here. Make sure your seed beads are sitting on top of your petals, like that. Just kind of finagle them, move them around in your fingers. Then go back through just that last seed bead that we added. And make sure you just go around in between those 2 petals of the, or in between the petals of the next 2 in line. And then when you pull tight, your purple sparkly bead should sit on top of one of the petals. So now we're going to do the next one, just is going to be similar to the first petal. This time we're only adding 3 seed beads, not 4. So add 3 of your golds, go back through the center, have your beads sit on top of the petal, and then go back through just that last seed bead, making sure your thread is going in between the 2 petals. So there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this round. I will get you started on the second round, because this last one, which will end up being the last sparkly purple bead that we add on, is going to be slightly different than the first 2 that we added here. So this was the sparkly purple bead, so it was 1 of the seed beads, the gold seed beads, the sparkle purple, and then 2 gold seed beads. Now we're adding our last of our 3 that we're going to be adding. I'm just doing this a little bit faster. If you need to, you can always slow me down using the functions down in the bottom of the screen down here, or you can always just rewind and rewatch it again. Now we're to where we're going to add our last of our purple sparkly beads. Now this one, all we have to add is just 1 gold seed bead, the sparkly purple, and then one more gold seed bead, because our second gold seed bead is that first one that I was talking about that we're going to share. So we're going to go down towards the center of our circular brick stitch through that first seed bead that we added at the very beginning, like that. Now you want to complete your brick stitch. Since I'm on the front of the product, I'm just going to go from the front to the back this time. It really doesn't matter. You can still go from the back to the front, just depending on what's more comfortable for you. It works either way. And then before I go back through the bead, make sure that your beads are kind of sitting on top of your petals again. Then I'm flipping it to the back, and then I'm going back up through that last seed bead, which you couldn't see at all. There we go. Going back up through that last seed bead there. And then flipping it back to the front, and then giving it a little bit of a tug, but just making sure that my beads are still sitting there right. So I'll get you started on this second round, and then I'll let you finish off that part because it's pretty simple. We're just going to go through the next two seed beads that are sitting there. So the two middle seed beads on top of this petal. Then we're going to pick up a gold one. Then we're going to go through the gold, the sparkly purple, and the gold on the other side. And then we're going to pick up another gold, and then go through the two gold in the center. And we're just going to do that part around this this edge of the earring. So go ahead and get that part done. We'll want to be coming out of, because you're going to add your last gold seed bead here, so you want to be coming out of this last gold seed bead here, so just before you get to your purple bead here. So meet me back on that section, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so now we finished the first two rounds of the brick stitch. So what we're going to do now is basically just kind of add some extra beads to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit more sparklier. You can always stop here if you wanted to. This makes a very cute little earring just as is, and then you can just add a wire guard or add in some jump rings or something like that to one of your seed beads, and then you can call your earring done if you wanted to do that. You can also use this as a component if you wanted to do that as well. Do a couple of these and then put these all together as a bracelet. It's one of those things. I like to do little components like this, so that way you can make different things with it. It could also be a little small pendant, and you can put it on a chain or some on some of the wire that we got in this month's kit. So it's one of those things that is very versatile. The next step that we're going to do, also pretty simple. Just pick up 6 of our gold seed beads, and we're essentially just going to round out over our purple sparkly beads. So add 6 to your thread and needle, and then we're going to go through those 6 beads in between the 2 sparkly beads. And then when you do that, that just adds a nice little round top around your sparkly bead. So this is the next step, so go ahead and complete that. When we are done with all of that, we want to come back through these first 6 beads that we just added, and we want to be coming out that last bead right here. So we want to be coming out in bead number 6 of the 6 that we just added. So meet me back in just a second. Alright, so this is the way it should look at the moment. Next round we're going to pick up 2 of our bronze beads, one of the purple star cut, how do they call this? It was a simple cut amethyst bead, and then 2 more of our bronze sea beads. So we're going to have 2, then the 1, then 2. And we're coming out of that 6th bead that we just added on this last round that is encapsulating the sparkly purple bead. Then we're going to go through the next 6 beads around the next one. So we're just going to skip all of them. Now if you're losing track of where your beads are at because we're using a bunch of the same color, you can always count them. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So your next one is part of the 6 that goes around the sparkly purple bead. Now your beads are going to sit a little bit off kilter like that. That's perfectly fine. The next step after this, we're going to fix that. So then just continue through your 6 beads on this side, and then pick up the 2, and then the 1, and then the 2, and then you go through your next one, your next 6 around the next bead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my next one sits right here. And then since this is kind of simple and easy, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to record. And then I'll break off here in just a second after the next round. So 2, 1, and 2. And then moving my starter thread out of the way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our next 6 starts right here. I'm just wiggling my thread because some of these beads, with them being the Duracoat, will have a little extra coating on the inside of them every once in a while. So sometimes you're going to have to wiggle your thread, sometimes you're going to have to get a pliers out and help guide your needle through those beads. But it's all good. So I'm coming through the last of those 6. I'm going to go ahead and proceed through the first 2 bronze ones that we added. I'm going to pick up another bronze, and I'm going to go through the purple bead. I'm going to pick up another bronze on the other side, go back down the 2 bronze on the other side of the purple bead. So that just puts 3 of our bronze beads on either side of our purple bead now. And see how it kind of sits a little bit better? It sits a little bit more up above the gold seed beads there. So it kind of helps make it sit a little bit easier. Now to get over here to this side, we're first going to go through the first 3 of the gold seed beads that we put around the purple sparkly bead. So just go through the first 3. Then we're going to pick up a gold seed bead, and we're going to put a picot sitting here. So we're going through the first 3, pick up a bead, go through the last 3 of the gold seed beads around the sparkly purple bead. When you do that, that helps sit your gold bead in more of a picot fashion on top of your purpley sparkly bead. So that's all you do on this round. So go ahead and go back through your first 2 bronze beads, add a bronze, go through the purple, add a bronze, go through the bronze, then continue through the first 3 gold, add a gold, continue through the last 3 gold, and so on. And then I will meet you back. I will get back to over here to this first peak bead that we just added just now, and then I'll show you how to add the wire guard and finish off the earring. Now it's time to add our wire guard here at the top, so we have something that our earring or our ear wire can hold on to. So on the wire guard, I've already actually pinched mine together down at the bottom. I only do that because I feel like it sits better on top of an 11/0 seed bead, so I always pinch mine. You don't have to, it's just something that I prefer to do. So we're going to go up one side of the wire guard, and then go down the other side with the thread, and we're circling through just that topmost 11/0 seed bead that we added on this last round. And then I'm going to put one more thread path through the wire guard. You can put more if you want to. I know it's somewhat easy to get 3 paths with the dragon thread through wire guard if you needed to. With it being an earring though, I'm probably just going to do the 2. It should be just fine. Ouch. Except don't poke yourself in the thumb with your needle. Ay. Okay, going back through, cat fur everywhere. Going back through the seed bead, underneath the wire guard, and now we have our wire guard on. So there's only one more step before we tie off. We're going to get back down to the center down here and add another bronze seed bead to help kind of pull in that bronze color to the center of the earring. So to do that, we're just going to follow our thread path. I'm just going to go back down these next 3 gold seed beads, if it'll let me. It knows I'm recording, so it's going to be difficult. It could also be because I need to eat lunch soon, and I'm probably shaking a little bit more than typical. There we go. Go back through those. And make sure I'm not wrapping around anything. And here I'm gonna kind of cheat a little bit. I'm sitting right next to the purpley sparkly bead, so I'm just gonna go from right to left through that guy. I'm gonna cheat. You're not gonna notice that. There's no way you're gonna be able to see that thread path unless you're looking at the earring with a microscope. Now, if you remember, our first round we added this first gold bead, seed bead here, then this purpley sparkly bead, and then this gold seed bead. So I'm just going to go straight down this first gold seed bead that we have, and I'm coming out the back side. So I'm flipping it to the back. So I'm coming out on the back side of the earring. And that is so I can get my thread to go through the center. So go through the center of our spacer, flipping it back to the front again. And when you do that, I'm just rearranging my spacer, make sure it's sticking out the way I want it to. When you have that set up, pick up one of your bronze seed beads, then go back through the spacer. And then that should sit, that bronze seed bead, just sitting there in the center. And of course the bronze and the antique gold and everything kind of blends together unless you're looking at it really closely, but it still brings that bronze color into the center a little bit more. So it looks more fluent, it looks more congruent with each other. So now you're basically set up to tie off on the back, because you should be back to where your starter thread is at. So go ahead and just make yourself another nice little knot, right over left, left over right. Since I don't know for sure if I did that in the right direction, I'm going to do one more knot. I think I did that in the wrong direction, one side. That's fine. 2 or 3 knots. Then burn off. And then you want to burn your ends close to the product, and I'm going to try to do this where I can see it. I may have to just kind of burn it down just a little bit and then go back and finish it in just a minute when I can get it closer to my face. There we go. Just want to make sure I don't go through any of the thread paths so I don't have to start all over again. Then I'm rearranging everything again to make it look the way that I want it to. Now we're going to open up our ear wire just by taking a pair of pliers and then opening this little portion and bending it off to the side like that. And then this particular ear wire I'm just going to drop into the wire guard. So I have the front of the earring facing me, and you just drop the back of your ear wire into the wire guard and twist it around until it sits there at the bottom. Then you take your pliers and you twist that part of the ear wire back closed. And now you have a completed earring. When you get your other one done, get all this moved off to the side so we can see the pair of earrings. So that's the pair of earrings that I made with this month's kit called Wild Mushroom from Softflex Company. It is our design challenge kit this month. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the other projects I'll be making with these beads. And I'd love to hear from you. What would you create with this kit? Drop your ideas in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Bye now. It would help if you would say who you are in your intro. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss it. That worked out good.